We've reached the end of Leviticus in our Old Testament series. It's good to be back today, and we've had a few days gaps because of school holidays in our house, and this week and next week I probably won't be doing as many of these as normal, but hopefully a few more after that, God willing. The Leviticus 26 and 27 bring the book of Leviticus to an end. And remember the structure of the book. We had sort of chapters 1 to 10, an introduction to sacrifices and basic principles of bringing your animals and doing these various things. 11 to and getting the priesthood kind of put in place and what they're going to be doing. 11 to 15, we're focusing on clean and unclean, cleansing the sanctuary, getting ready for God to come and dwell with his people. Chapter 16, the heart of the book, the Day of Atonement, how it is that a holy God can dwell among his people. 17 to 25 then focus on the holiness of God's people and how they live when there is a holy God in their midst. I am the Lord your God, be holy as I am holy. 26 is really the climax of the book, and 27 is a little epilogue on response to that. But let's focus on 26, which was yesterday's reading. It's about covenant blessings and covenant curses, which feature at the end of every time God makes a covenant with his people. You get this. Here is how you need to respond. If you obey, if you keep my commands, here are the good things that will happen. And verse 9, chapter 26, verse 9, I will look on you with favour and make you fruitful and increase your numbers. I will keep my covenant with you. You will still be eating last year's harvest when you will have to move it out to make room for the new. What a beautiful picture that is, isn't it? I will put my dwelling place among you, and I will not abhor you. I will walk among you and be your God, and you will be my people. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt so that you would no longer be slaves to the Egyptians. I broke the bars of your yoke and enabled you to walk with heads held high. Does that language ring any bells? It's the same kind of language you get right at the end of the Bible, in the end, of God dwelling with his people and saying, I am your God and you are my people. So Leviticus is kind of pointing to where the whole Bible story ends up, of God dwelling among his people. And Leviticus has been making the preparations for that. So how is that going to be possible? So we get this extraordinary promise and picture of the future, but we also then get a lot of warnings about things that will happen if God's people don't listen to him and turn away from his covenant, and the curses that will come. So how then do we end up at the end of the Bible with God's people dwelling with him? Well, we get there via the cross. We get there via Jesus taking the covenant curses on himself. We get there via Jesus perfectly obeying and keeping the law so that God's people can dwell with him forever. So Jesus fulfills these, he does what needs to happen positively, and he takes the curses of the consequences of not doing this, which we have done, and he takes that for us, and that means we're free to enjoy him. And so I suppose the thing to focus on is that picture of what this makes us long for, just the descriptions of what we can look forward to, of having no room for the harvest because you still haven't finished last year's. Of God dwelling with us, of walking with him and him walking with us. And right now in the news and everything, the focus is on when is lockdown going to end and what will that look like. And that's the sort of great hope, the longing for what that will feel like when we can just go back to normal, and how normal will it be and how quickly will it come about. But as Christian people, our ultimate hope is something beyond the end of lockdown. It is the time when we will see God face to face. So as much as we long to be back together physically with one another as a church and with our friends and our families, to be united together again, let's keep on focusing on that end of days when God will dwell with his people, when we will benefit from what Jesus has done for us to make that possible. Let's keep that our hope and our prayer for one another and